Across the vastness of reality, a limitless number of existences play over infinite possibilities. These are the fragments captured in our rudimentary observation. Welcome to the Omniverse.
And so this thing, you don't know specifically what it is, but it certainly bears a strong resemblance to creatures from tales of descriptions of breached cares and things created or shaped by the horrors to possibly break through the earthen defenses of the underground shelters.
Well, I've got interesting news and possibly bad news.
Is that the same news, or is that two different newses?
It's linked, we'll say.
All right.
So this thing, I don't know exactly that it is that, but it bears a striking resemblance to the kinds of constructs that horrors used to build to try to breach the defenses of cares. So the good news is there could be a care down there that's perhaps undiscovered. Or, seeing how large this tunnel is and the size of this thing and whatnot, it could be not a good scene.
Well, let's keep following the tunnel then. I'll keep a much more weathered eye for traps, I promise, and see what we come across.
So, setting forth a little bit more timidly this time, perhaps, a little bit more cautiously, now that you have maybe not an idea, but at least the first inklings of what you might be discovering down here. You make your way down the tunnel. Pokey, since you are up front, go ahead and give me an awareness test as you are keeping an eye out for traps and things like that.
Okay, I'm going to spend another karma on it. This seems important. 14.
Are you trying to be sneaky as well, or more concerned with noticing traps as opposed to keeping quiet?
I'm trying to be sneaky.
Okay.
Kanath has made the point that things might have already gotten past these defenses and we might be walking into a bad zone here, so I don't want to set off whatever might be down there.
Okay, give me a new stealthy stride test as well then.
10.
So it's not too much longer, an actual, maybe just another few minutes of walking, and no additional signs of creatures or anything like that. When you notice up ahead, off of the reflection of the lights that you're carrying, Pokey, the glint of what looks like gold, perhaps?
Ooh, well, I want to go see what it is.
So with a little bit of a cry of excited surprise, you hear Pokey's wings beating a little bit faster as they speed ahead from the rest of the group.
Oh, and there they go.
After a few moments, Pokey, you basically, it seems like the tunnel ends in a sheer, flat face of stone. But you can see what was reflecting the light is inscribed on the face of the stone, what looked to be runes or sigils or something along those lines, inlaid with a sort of golden material.
Can I read it? Do I understand it?
Nope.
Oh. Well, I want to look around sort of the edges of this and on the floor and just make sure that before anyone else approaches it, that it isn't rigged as a trap somehow.
Okay. So poking around and taking a look, you find that what it looks like is it is a large, heavy slab or block of stone that looks like it slid down from the ceiling and actually did not go smoothly all the way down. When you actually get down to ground level, you find that there is a gap of about maybe a foot and a half or 2 feet where it got wedged and didn't make it all the way down to the ground. But it looks like it was maybe like there was a pit or something that opened up, and this was supposed to slam down into it to like block off the pit or something like that, but it got wedged and didn't fall correctly.
Oh, all right. Well, I will let the rest of the team get up close enough to see this, and I'll say, yeah, this looks like it
slides out of the ceiling or something, but there's I can't read that. I don't know what language.
So as you get closer with the lights, it illuminates basically a very elaborate, like pattern of runes and sigils and so forth, kind of like this big elaborate metal circle that's inscribed into the face of this stone and inlaid with like spirals and runes and so forth of yellow gold material. It's elaborate and impressive.
With my knowledge of rune carving, is this something that I might be able to decipher?
Go ahead and roll your rune carving skill.
All right. That's a 7.
They are very well made, and while you can't make out anything specific, like it's not a language that you recognize or anything like that, your guess is that they are like runes inscribed for some kind of magical something or other.
Okay. I can't read it, but it is some sort of magical something, and I'm kind of looking helplessly at Siobhan as I'm saying that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would be trying to give it a once-over-2 to see if I think this is an actual language that I could try to decipher.
Do you have the talent for read and write?
I have the
language?
skill.
You have the skill. Okay. Go ahead and roll that.
Okay. God, 5.
It is not a language that you know how to read.
And I have the talent. So as Siobhan is like starting to read it, can I like peek over her shoulder and try it as well?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this works with talent stacking or things like that. There's a way to assist someone, or do we all attempt on our own?
No, in this case, you're just, because you've got the magical talent, you're going to be making your own roll on that.
11.
Okay. Studying it with your magical troubadour abilities, you recognize after a few moments it's not actually a language. It looks like it's probably like spell sigils and things like that.
Oh, I see why we couldn't read this. 'Cause it's not words.
Oh, I know.
Siobhan, go ahead and roll your pattern craft talent.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was going to tell you to roll charisma on that bluff.
Not 14. 19.
Oh, yes. Now that Kanath has pointed it out. Oh, yes. These are magical runes and wards, and the metal that's inscribed in it is probably orichalcum to empower whatever it is that this was designed to do.
Oh, where would you look at this now? And I'm kind of tracing it a little bit and getting just a good closer look. I think this is orichalcum.
Are they still working?
Would I know if this is something that's still kind of an active
You
thing?
know a way you can check. Go ahead and roll Astral Sight.
Oh, yes, okay. 10.
Yes, the orichalcum runes and sigils have a very definite and prominent presence in astral space. And it looks like they are reinforcing the stone and creating some kind of ward or protection on it.
Yes, it's still active. It's reinforcing some kind of a ward.
Well, is it gonna stop me from just walking through that 1.5 gap at the bottom?
You don't think so?
Seems like you could give it a try.
Oh, I'm happy to contribute. If my contribution is just walking through all the traps that have a space for me and deactivating them from the other side, I'm happy to do it. So I will just limbo under.
All right, so you kind of duck a little bit and go under the gap, and once you've gone under, what you thought sort of initially was that actually it opens up into a more sizable like pit underneath. That's probably about 10 feet deep, give or take. And something happened to prevent the stone from sliding down into and like completely sealing it off. So your companions could probably like squeeze under and get down into the pit. And it looks like the similar situation on the other side. The entire thing is probably about, like the entire block overhead, and the pit is probably about another like 10 feet or so across, and there's a similar gap on the other side that you can kind of see with the little bit of light that's filtering through. So it looks like you could just kind of crawl under it and get out the other side. Make an awareness test for me.
11.
You can kind of make out in the dim light a couple of things down here at the bottom of the pit as well. Looks like a couple of bodies, maybe?
Ooh. Is there a stench?
No. I mean, beyond like the normal sort of dry smell of cave.
Okay. I'll poke my head back under the door. There's a pit on this side that goes down about 10 feet, and seems like maybe you could wiggle your way under and down, and then wiggle under on the other side to get through. But there are a couple of bodies at the bottom of the pit, and I don't know whether to go check on them or just leave them. They don't smell, so they're either extremely new or very old.
It may not hurt to take a look. If something down there killed them while they were trying to do the same little shimmy you're suggesting, then we might not want to attempt that.
Can I, can you slide me a lantern, please?
Yeah, I'll give them my light quartz.
Oh, much better.
Okay.
I'll go inspect the bottom of the pit.
Okay. So taking the lantern and getting a little bit closer, you see a couple of, like name giver bodies on the ground. One of them looks like, as you get a little bit closer, one of them looks like an orc. The other looks like a human. And they appear to be dressed in kind of like homespun, fairly simple sort of homespun garb with a kind of like a dark, maybe like dark green cloaks that they're wearing. But other than that, as you get a little bit closer, one of them with a like kind of a slight creaking sound turns its head towards you and starts to sit up.
Does it seem like the kind of thing that an alive creature would do, or that an undead creature would do?
Yeah, it's not like somebody like normally sitting up. Like the skin is like very tight against the skull, and the hair is kind of thin, and undead. And we will go into combat rounds and have everybody roll initiative.
You didn't just startle them from a nap, is what he's saying.
I don't. Maybe they fell down here.
Just taking a little nap under a 20-ton stone block.
They're like, oh, we fell down here, and well, it's been a while, so we fell asleep. But you're here now, and we're awake, and we're ready to leave.
We've just been waiting for company.
Yeah, that's probably what's going through their faint brains. Ooh, another one.
Company,
Join us.
yeah.
Okay, so for initiative, if it says that my initiative is 6, does that mean that I would roll step 6, so a d10?
Yep. And it open ends like everything else, and highest initiative total goes first, and it counts down from there.
Okay.
3.
4.
6.
Also 6.
All right. So I will give Pokey a chance to sort of react in the moment before, just in terms of like maybe letting the others know that there's something down here. And then we'll have the 6s are actually acting first.
Okay. You all hear a shout in the pit. It says, "They're fucking zombies, man." And can I get a little bit out of their range, or
what was your initiative score?
Hearty 3.
A 3. Okay. You actually are still acting before them, so I will let you take your action if you want. They actually only rolled a 1, so they are going last in the round.
That seems appropriate for zombies.
So is there a ledge between the door and the pit, or right under the door, is it just straight down into pit?
Yeah, basically, like, if the stone block had fallen all the way down, it would have basically hit the edge. So you basically go, like, right from the gap. Like, there's no, like, wide, like, narrow place. You basically just have to squeeze through that opening, and then you're in the pit. Like, the block was supposed to fall down and completely, like, block the pit, but it didn't fall right, and so there's a gap that you can squeeze under to get into the pit.
Okay. I just want to zip up and kind of hover in the space, under the block, but hopefully out of their reach, and take a shot at them with my bow.
All right. So go ahead and roll your missile weapons.
That was atrocious. That's a 2.
Oh boy.
With a cry of somewhat surprised alarm, Pokey drops the light quartz lantern. So it falls down to the ground and is sort of illuminating. Backpedals, unslinging their bow, fitting an arrow, and just basically like firing widely down, and it just ricochets off of the stone, not even really coming close to hitting either of the things. Everybody else that's kind of up right at the edge hears the cry and the twang and the rapid fluttering of Pokey. And so now we've got Jara and Kanath are up.
I'm going to see Pokey fly back and drop the lantern, and Kanath is going to let out a heartening laugh to try to bolster everybody, just in case, like, oh, if these are undead things, I don't want anybody to be afraid.
Okay, so you can go ahead and roll heartening laugh.
14.
All right, and I believe that targets everybody's social defense.
It does.
Well, you got me. My social defense is 10.
My social defense is 8.
-7.
All right, so it takes effect, and if there are any tests that get made, you basically all get a bonus to your defenses against fear and intimidation effects. So you all kind of feel the supportive magic of Kanath's laugh kind of fill you and bolster you. That actually does not take your action for the round. It's a simple action, so you can still do something else if you want.
So with that, I will draw my sword and stride forward and try to shimmy under the cube, the door, the square, and get into the pit.
All right. So Kanath has like squeezed through and dropped down. Go ahead and give me just a straight dexterity test, Kanath.
7.
Okay. Yeah. You kind of swing down and you know, when you sort of hanging off the ledge and then drop the last couple of feet and land without any problem. So you are now down in the bottom of the pit. Jara.
Awesome. So watching Kanath jump into the pit, I am going to follow as well. I'm going to shimmy underneath and see if I can drop down as well.
I'm not even going to make you roll because you are tall enough that with your arms you could actually stand on the ground and reach up and grab the lip of the ledge.
I'm just going to step down into the pit. How large is this sort of pit? Is there room to swing a sword around?
Yes, there is room to... The pit itself is about 10 by 10 square, and it's about 10 feet deep, so maybe a little bit hampered if you're going for a complete and total overhand swing, but thrusts and side slashes and stuff shouldn't be any problem.
Okay, cool. Then...
You've got like a foot or two clearance between the top of your head and the ceiling, basically.
Okay, great. In that case, I'm going to draw Hearthguard and attack one of these zombies. Can I do that?
You absolutely can. You step forward. Go ahead and roll melee weapons.
Okay, sure.
Are you going to be going after the orc or the human?
I should pick on some of my own size. I'm going to go after the orc.
Okay.
That is an 11.
That hits.
Okay.
So you will roll the damage from your sword.
Okay. Can I actually, can I try to use Shield Bash to knock this orc down?
Yeah, absolutely. So you hit, so go ahead and roll your Shield Bash.
Okay. That is an 8.
Okay. So takes a little bit of damage. And it makes a test to avoid being knocked down, and it succeeded. So you do kind of make it stagger back a foot or two, but it keeps its feet.
Okay.
Siobhan, we are to you.
Do I get the sense that this gap is big enough that if I kind of crouch there, I could potentially cast something through to hit them?
You sure can.
Oh,
the gap is like a couple of feet,
right.
So you can't walk through it, but you can like lay down and easily see or crouch down and see what's going on in there.
Okay, then I think what I want to do is begin building my lightning bolt.
That requires a thread, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to need to make a thread weaving test here on the first round.
And while he's rolling this, do you want to tell us a little bit about the way that magic works and the threads in this world?
Yeah, absolutely. So unlike in D&D, to provide the most obvious example where you have a number of slots per day and only, you can only cast certain levels so many times. Spellcasting in Earthdawn is effectively unlimited, that you can, cast a spell as many times as you want. There are two limitations on this. One, astral space as a result of the horrors is polluted and corrupted, and if you don't cast a spell safely, then you will take damage and potentially throw up a bright flare in astral space, letting anything nearby that might want to cause you problems. And so spellcasters developed what are called spell matrices, which basically act as a filter. And so Siobhan has, I believe, a total of 4 matrices. You've got 3 that are talents and 1 that is in your item.
Correct.
And has basically decided ahead of time, out of all the spells that she knows, these are the spells that she has safely prepared in her matrices. And depending on how powerful a spell is, you might need to take a round or more to sort of gather the energy and prepare it. And the lightning bolt spell that she is casting has what's called a thread, which basically needs to gather a round's worth of energy in order to cast it. So there's a target number for that, and she rolls her elementalism, which is her magical gather power ability, also called thread weaving, to basically gather that energy.
So I'm going to give it a try. 9.
I believe that's enough. Yep. So you successfully wove the thread, which means next round you can cast the spell.
Outstanding.
And we had Pokey actually act first because they were down there in the pit already. And so we are now on to the orc and human things that have apparently some semblance of unlife. They are not attacking with any kind of weapon or anything like that. The orc is going to take a swing at Jara, since Jara tried to bash him in the face with her shield.
Yeah, that's fair.
And what is your physical defense?
13.
Okay. So the orc, surprisingly quickly, basically just jumps on you and starts raking at you with his claws. Successfully hits you for 12 damage. Now that gets reduced by your physical armor.
Okay. So my physical armor is 7, so I take 5 points of damage.
So you only take 5, correct. And then the other one steps forward, and the only other figure down here at ground level currently is Kanoth. So we'll step forward and try and claw at you. And what is your physical defense?
10.
Okay, so it also hits you.
Could I try to avoid blow?
You certainly can.
Okay. 11? Did it?
That is not enough.
Yeah, I kind of assumed.
Right, and that is only 8 damage before your armor.
All right.
All right, and that was that. Everybody rolls fresh initiatives at the top of each round.
Oh, we roll initiative every time?
Yeah.
Yes, there are. None of the characters in this group happen to have them, but there are talents that you can use, like for warriors and so forth, to actually boost your initiative. And so those basically you do roll a fresh initiative every round.
Oh, nice.
Pokey got a 4.
Siobhan also got a 4 again.
That's another 6 for me.
I got a 7 this time.
Oh.
Nice.
So Kanoth is up first with his 7.
All right, so I'm going to swing back at the human that just swung at me.
Okay, so melee weapons. Your target number is a 9. That sounded good.
Yeah, 23.
Man.
Very nice. Okay. So his target number was a 9. Every 5 points over that is an additional success in 4th edition. So 23 is not enough to get 3 extra successes, but 19 gives you 2 additional. So you will actually add +4 to your damage as a result of that. So go ahead and go ahead and roll the damage for your sword.
And I want to double check here. So on my broadsword, it is a forge, which says +3. My strength is a 6. It says my damage is an 8, so I'm rolling a step 14.
That I believe is correct.
Okay, and then am I rolling an 18 now because of that success?
Yes, you would be rolling a step 18.
All right.
You've got your step chart there that's got the dice.
I get to roll 3 dice this time. That's only exciting for me. Sorry.
It's a D12 and 2D8?
D12, D10, D8. 15 points of damage.
15 points of damage. Oof. So you basically both of these figures are wearing kind of like leather armor underneath the cloaks, And you basically punch through the armor in kind of the midsection, and the human kind of recoils back a step or bit, and then kind of looks back up at you with just this like inhuman, like snarl of you're not sure what on its face.
Oh, I thought I might have killed it. I seem to have made it angrier.
Jara, you're up.
All right. I would like to try to hit this orc again. So that's
Okay.
a melee weapons. Grab my D10. That's a 15.
That is a 15. So you scored enough to get an extra +2 damage. So what is the normal damage for your sword?
My normal damage is step 16.
So you'll be rolling a step 18 as
Oh.
well. So a D12, a D10, and a D8.
Okay.
Welcome to the club.
Hey. It's very exciting to roll this many dice. Math. 16.
All right. And you have a similar situation to Kanath in that you strike a rather solid blow that normally would sort of wound a target. And again, there's this sort of like moment of momentary pause, and then the orc starts going like even a little bit more ferociously toward you.
I seem to have also made mine angrier.
So now we are on 4s. I think both Siobhan and Pokey were at 4.
What is required for me to switch weapons? Is that like my action?
You can just switch if you want.
Okay. Then I want to holster Fang of the Wind and draw Shadow Strike and downstrike the orc.
Okay, great. So go ahead and you fly forward, and using some downward momentum because you can get altitude above them, make a melee weapons test against the orc.
16.
All right, a 16. That is going to give you an additional +2 damage from the attack. You get, so your normal sword damage, +2, plus what's your rank in downstrike?
My rank in downstrike is 2.
Okay. So you'll have +2 from downstrike, +2 from the good roll on your attack. So it'll be +4 to your normal damage from the sword. So your normal sword damage is what?
My normal sword damage is step 11.
Step 11. Okay. +4 would put you at a step 15 for your damage. So a D12 plus 2D6.
Cool. That was
Yikes.
atrocious. 5.
Oh no.
That was 2 1s.
You misjudge, you're still a little shaken from the earlier surprise and kind of misjudge your descent, and you kind of nick it a little bit. And don't really look like you did a whole lot of injury to this thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. And so it is their turn now. We will have the orc taking a swing at Jara.
Is it Siobhan's turn?
Is
that
it
is-
Siobhan's turn?
So Siobhan has not gone. I apologize. You're right. It is Siobhan's turn.
You unroll those dice.
Yeah, I will disregard the result on those.
Unless it was bad.
All right, if it's up to me, then I want to unleash a lightning bolt.
Okay, which one are you targeting first?
I think the human.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your spellcasting talent.
Okay, I'm gonna even put a little stank on this and use a karma, I think.
Okay, adding a point of karma as well. Make sure you mark that off and add your d6.
13.
That is successful.
Okay.
Unfortunately, not high enough to get any extra successes, so you will only get the lightning bolt on the human, but go ahead and roll the effect dice for the damage that it deals.
Okay, and so just to clarify on that, it's listed as will plus an extra plus 6, I think, for this. So I'm just doing my will step.
Your willpower step
Perfect.
plus 6 is the total step number. So
Okay. That's 18.
18, nice.
Krakow.
Okay, so there is the crack of thunder and the smell of, ozone in the air as a bolt of lightning arcs from Siobhan's outstretched arm to the human undead that's trying to make a meal out of Kanath. And the blow is actually strong enough to knock the human off of its feet, and it ends getting sprawled prone on the ground. It does look like it is going to try and get back up, however. All right, now it is their turn. The human takes its action to get back up, so it doesn't have the opportunity to make an attack. And the orc takes another claw at Jara. And a 9 on that is not enough to beat your physical defense, so you block it with your shield or whatever kind of defensive, and it doesn't do any damage to you.
Nice.
All right, and we are on to round 3, so go ahead and make a fresh initiative roll.
There we go. 10.
8.
4.
5.
10 is up first. One thing that you do know, Pokey, is that, it got back up to its feet. It's not prone anymore. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if it were knocked down, then you could get Surprise Strike in there, but it acted before you got a chance to.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try and stab that one anyway.
Okay. Go ahead and melee weapons.
6.
Oh no.
That is not enough to hit.
I say,
Poor little guy.
I wish you would have stayed down on the ground. This would have been a lot easier for me.
All right. Who was next?
I believe that was Siobhan. I mean, if it ain't broke, I think I saw that have some effect, so I'm gonna start building that one back up again.
Okay, go ahead and make another elementalism roll then.
Oh boy, that's a 9. Oh wait, but that's
That's enough.
That is enough on that one. Okay.
Yeah, you only needed a 7, so.
Oh goody.
Who was after that?
I think that was you, Rev.
Yes. So I will step up and go after the human still that Pokey is now at.
Okay.
Nah.
Oh no.
That's a 5. Oh, up close, they're much more terrifying. You're right. I assume that's why you've been missing this whole time. I like gentle ribbing in combat.
And Jara.
All right. I am going to try to hit this orc again.
Go ahead.
That's a 12.
That is enough. No bonus damage from your results, so you'll just roll your straight normal weapon.
Okay, so that's a D12 plus a D8 plus a D6. Ooh, that's pretty good. 19.
Oh, that is very good. So after its armor, you stagger it, but it actually does manage to avoid being knocked down from the blow. All right, and they are both still active and on their feet, so we will have the orc taking a swing at Jara. That is a 13. What is your physical defense?
My physical defense is 13.
Okay, so that just hits.
Can I try to avoid blow?
You certainly can. You would roll avoid blow, and you're looking to equal or beat a 13.
Okay, let's try.
Don't forget to mark off 1 point of damage from the strain of attempting that.
Okay, cool. Just barely. That's a 14.
You successfully avoid the blow, so the only damage you take is the point of strain.
Excellent.
Yeah. And the other one going up against Kanath, that is only a 6. So you managed to avoid getting hit back.
You're not the only one who's frightening up close, eh?
I just imagine the two of you just kind of just like fronting on each other.
Come at me.
All right, we are up into another round, so go ahead and fresh initiative rolls, everybody.
That's a little better.
7.
2.
5.
8.
8 is up first, so Kanath.
All right, I'm gonna hit this human. Or at least I'm gonna try. 16.
Yeah.
There we are.
16 is good. There you go. That is 1 extra success, so you'll do an additional +2 damage.
6.
Oh, no!
So many ones.
All right. Next up would be 7 for Pokey.
Okay. Can I get just enough lift with my wings to do a down strike again?
Sure.
Okay, then I am going to down strike the human.
All right. Go ahead and melee weapons.
6.
God.
6 will not hit.
Guys.
I picked these dice because they looked to me just like slightly corrupted astral space, and they are doing me dirty.
Next up is Jara at 5.
All right, you know what? This keeps working, so why alter it? I'm gonna hit it again.
Melee weapons?
Yeah. That's an 11.
That is enough. No bonus damage.
Okay, so that's just double check that I'm rolling the correct dice. All right.
Oh, I heard some roll-ups there.
Yep. All right, so that was... that's a 20.
Nice. Doing a little math here.
This game is stressful from just the amount of math, Because you're rolling just
Yeah.
a bunch of different dice all at once, and then you
Yeah.
explode one. And you got to remember, there's an 8, so there's an 8, but then now it's a 6, and like.
But it's nice to like see those exploding dice. It's like in Savage Worlds where you see your dice roll up and so forth. It's a lot of fun, especially when you get
Absolutely.
those like situations where you'll have a die like re-roll like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I was telling Rev about that. Was one of the things I really liked was the sort of like step tables, and as role players we really love just rolling a bunch of dice all at once, and this just gives us the opportunity to do that a whole bunch.
So Jara, having gotten the size appropriate of her opponent, comes in for another vicious lash at her, but she sidesteps and just basically skewers Hearthguard, her sword, right through its chest, and it kind of gives what passes for a sort of hacking cough and kind of then gradually slumps and slides off of her sword to the ground, apparently returned back to Death's embrace.
Very nice. I'm going to sort of wipe the blood off a little bit. With
It's not really much in the way of blood. It's kind of like dark, sticky, like tar kind of stuff here that's remained. The human who is continuing to try and claw off Kanath's face, snout, and going on 3. Oh, that is a 20.
Yikes.
Oh, boy.
I would have to be, that would be an amazing avoid blow that I don't think I can pull off.
Okay, so you're not going to try?
I mean, I'm going to try. I shouldn't.
Okay.
might as well.
Do you have it as a talent?
I do. So I can
You could
spend karma.
spend a point of karma to increase your odds.
So really all I'm doing right now is just increasing the damage I'm going to take by a point because of the strain. But at least I'm knowing that going in.
Come on, exploding.
I know, right? D10, D8, D6. 11.
Oh no.
Oh.
All right, what is your physical defense normally?
10.
It is a 10, so we've got 2 extra successes. It's going to be doing +4 damage.
Oh boy.
12, 16, 18. Okay, so it's going to be rolling step 18.
Oh no, welcome to the club. It used to be exclusive. Now it seems like everybody's getting in.
You say begrudgingly as it runs you through.
Oh, that's not bad, actually. 14 before your armor. Didn't actually roll very well on those. What's your physical armor?
It is 6.
So you take 8.
Oh man.
What is your wound threshold?
My wound threshold is 9, fortunately.
So your armor prevented you from taking a wound.
And wounds in this game, if you take damage equal to your wound threshold, you acquire a wound, and those wounds stack up and start to give you penalties to what you do.
That's correct. Except when you have undead with a special ability that their wounds make them angrier and stronger.
Oh, that's what it's doing. Okay.
I see.
All right, and so we are on to 2. Siobhan, as your spell is ready to go.
Yes, indeed. And I'm going to use another karma just to put some more oomph into this.
Spell casting against the remaining undead.
Give me a moment.
Oh no.
25.
Very nice. It's unfortunate that there's only one target because your extra successes with Lightning Bolt allow you to chain it to additional targets.
Yeah. I mean, I still can.
Yeah, there's 3 other targets down here still.
So it is successful. Go ahead and roll your effect test, which is, I believe, step 13.
12.
All right.
Stay down, boyo.
Okay, so we've got just one target left, one undead nasty still up and fighting. So we are going into another round, so fresh initiative rolls.
I swear all of my D12s are weighted to roll 4s instead.
I got a 1.
8?
9.
9 is up first, so Kanath.
Okay, I'm gonna swing the sword at this human that just got hit with a lightning bolt. 12.
12 is enough to hit, no bonus damage.
16.
Oh, that's very nice. So after its armor. Oh, there you go. So you run it through as well, actually kind of half take off its leg, and it collapses to the ground, and again, kind of collapses back into a semblance of death.
Oh, there we are. It seems like these things are weak to lightning. That seemed to loosen them all up so we could finish them off.
Very funny. This big guy here took no lightning, and yet I had no issue taking it down all by myself.
I'm sure there was some splash.
Are we sure they're down?
I'm gonna run it through with my sword again.
Yeah, a quick follow-up, just sort of testing stab does indicate that they, whatever might have been animating them a few moments ago, appears to have departed for now. They don't react when you poke and stab them again.
Ugh. Before I get down there, I don't trust it. And I think I want to roll wood skin, my talent, to give me a little boost.
Yep. Go ahead and mark off that you used one of your recovery tests.
Mm-hmm.
And then go ahead and roll your wood skin talent.
12.
Okay, so you get an additional plus 12 to your unconsciousness and death ratings, which will last for, what's your rank in wood skin?
4. So 4 hours. And my skin literally hardens up like bark. And then, yeah, I'll kind of crawl down as well, kind of kick my feet and wave for Jara to help me down.
Yeah, absolutely. I will gingerly pick up Siobhan and just set her on the ground.
Thank you, darling.
No problem.
And while that's happening, can we inspect these two to see if there's any indication of who or what they are on them?
Sure. Go ahead and roll awareness tests as you kind of rifle the bodies.
15?
10.
All right. So, searching the bodies, as I sort of described earlier, they were wearing sort of kind of simple homespun clothing under leather sort of armor. They've got the sort of dark green cloaks, which look to be sort of the finest made stuff that they have. Although on the human, the cloak is kind of singed and smoking at this point after having taken a couple of blasts of lightning. Both of the cloaks are clasped at the neck with an enameled pin that looks like it's a design of 3 leaves with the sort of three branching leaves with like the stems of the leaves kind of wrapped around together in a twist going down. They also, each of them have a what look to be fairly standard swords with them as well.
Pokey, this charred cape, rugged or disheveled looking?
Are you thinking about taking it for yourself?
Oh, yes. It might be a good piece during the proper story.
Flip it over the left shoulder.
Yeah.
Flip it over the right shoulder.
Yeah. This? How about this angle?
It's got an air to it like you just got back from a battle. So for the right story, yeah.
All right. And I will tuck it into my pack.
What exactly is thief lore?
It's basically a knowledge skill. Like, you know, stories about famous thieves and like sort of criminal connections and stuff like that.
Okay. I don't think I have anything to know what the 3-leaf iconography is.
Yeah, and I think tucking the cloak in and seeing Pokey examining the 3-leaf pin, I would try to do a knowledge test on it.
You can do that as a perception-based half magic as a troubadour if you want to sort of tap into that access of your knowledge, or do you have another skill that would be more appropriate?
No, my only other knowledge is troubadours and then legends and heroes.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and so that would be a step 10, so 2d8 for your perception-based half magic.
6.
Oh.
I think it belongs to the Keebler elves.
Looking at the weapons that they have, using my half magic, which is sort of knowing the kind of like history of weapons, is there any way that I could maybe figure out what group might have used these weapons?
What's your perception step?
My perception is 16.
And it's a step?
Step 7.
7. Okay. So roll step 11. So that's a step 7 plus 4 for your circle is step 11, which is a d10, d8.
19.
Well, looking over the weapons, they are fairly simple if solidly made and durable. Looks like they would hold an edge well. The style of the weapon, they are a double-edged blade, which means that it probably was something that is in line with the style of dwarven swords prior to the Scourge. Although it is a fairly popular design, there's not really anything on them that you can see as a really distinctive mark or anything like that.
Okay.
They look like the fairly standard, like solid workable, like soldier weapon. They do both actually look old.
Okay. These are very old. Pre-Scourge.
Or at least modeled after Scourge, pre-Scourge designs.
Yeah, pre-Scourge design.
Perhaps that does lend the idea that this is heading towards some undiscovered care or something.
Yeah, but it seems like all the defenses are already tripped, so definitely going to encounter resistance, I imagine.
Right.
We're definitely not the first people through here, and so far, even the last one that got tripped, somebody got past that, got to this one.
So turn around and go back?
Oh no, I still want to go do it. I'm just saying. Just want it out there that we are absolutely and knowingly walking towards a resistant something that probably wants to kill us, like every other obstacle on the way there. But that's fine, let's do it.
Is that any different from most of the situations that we find ourselves in?
I'll be damned if that isn't right.
It's no different from the ones we find ourselves in. I just always want to point out that I'm the one that doesn't want to do them, but I'm along for the ride. You're my family, all that.
Listen, all I'm saying is that when we go to the inn tonight and we want me to tell a story to pay for the room and the food, no one's paying to listen to a story about a bunch of adventurers sitting around the tavern.
I'm just saying that safely in the tavern, a fool and his money are parted, and I could just take that and pay for the room without having to go fight the spikes and the zombies and the big stone blocks.
Come on, Pokey. I know you are curious. I tap my shoulder.
Oh, you got me there. I am curious.
I'll wiggle through the other side of the block and see what's on the other side.
All right. Do you retrieve the lantern and take it with you?
Oh, yes. Yes, please.
Okay. So you pick up the lantern and flit up and squeeze through the gap and find yourself in a similar tunnel. The back side of the stone, if you kind of turn back and take a look, has very similar like carvings and runes and so forth on this side as well. And you otherwise don't see any real activity or anything like that. The tunnel kind of continues to descend gradually and looks like it turns off to the left, a little bit beyond the edge of your light source.
It's just the same over here. Dog legs off up ahead, so climb on through.
Yeah, I go over and try to jump up and grab the lip and pull myself up.
I'll go over and give you a boost if you need one.
What? Oh.
I will stand there expecting the boost.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do like a proper cheer. 1, 2, down, up.
Do either of you have, do any of the other three have climbing as a skill?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, I do. Not that I need it.
So go ahead and add 2 steps to your dexterity to represent the help you're getting from Jara in getting up and over.
Okay.
This is a waste.
Oh my god.
23. I re-rolled that D8 twice.
Oh my god.
All right. So Kanath has no problem getting, especially with the boost of getting up and through and just kind of like rolls under the edge and gracefully kind of using his tail as a little bit of leverage, springs back up to his feet. What did Siobhan get?
Lucky 7.
That's enough. Quite a bit less graceful, but it is enough to get yourself up and through the gap and up the other side. Go ahead and just roll a straight climbing test, Jara.
Sure thing. Pull it up. Okay. That's a 12.
That is enough to get yourself boosted up and out. So you are now all on the other side of the pit with more tunnel descending ahead of you.
Would it be safe to say that the rest of the runes and stuff on this side are just the other half? Like this is completing the...
Yeah, it looks like that's probably the case, taking a quick look at it.
Cool.
So seeing that this is mirrored on the other side, like I wasn't really thinking about this till we got through it, but now that we're on this side of it looking back, could I roll like legends and heroes to know when they made cares? Like, was it just one big door, or is this possibly a door into a care, or did they have defenses set up differently?
Go ahead and make a roll.
19.
Your guess is that this probably was not the actual door, that this was probably one of the layers of defenses that if this was tripped, the block would fall into, like, whatever set it off would, like, open the pit and drop it, and then a big block would fall on its head, and the stone block was reinforced to provide some additional magical resistance if things were being breached. The actual entrance is probably back up the other way, up the tunnel from where you first dropped in.
Oh, so we may actually be inside already. This may be an interior defense to a much larger care than a defense leading to the door.
Oh, that makes sense. If we found it halfway with those miners just doing it on accident, like that's wild. That's that makes me wonder. I mean, these people might still be living down here.
It depends how many layers of defenses they had. Maybe we'll come to something that's still untripped and we'll find some survivors down here.
Let's press on then.
All right. You start making your way down the tunnel, continuing on. Again, like a lot of the, like not a lot of rubble or debris or anything like that in the passage. No real signs of habitation. If it hadn't been for the stuff that you had come across already, you would be suspecting that, this was just maybe an unused shaft or tunnel or something like that. After about maybe another 10 to 15 minutes of walking, there is basically sort of the tunnel sort of again ends, except this time instead of being just a flat stone face, it's like there's a mortared wall that's constructed, that again, the individual stones look like they have reinforcing runes on them. The tunnel had started narrowing, and instead of being like about 15 or so, it's maybe narrowed to be about 10 feet wide at this point. And it comes to a sort of flush face that's got like an open doorway on the left side of the tunnel, like a mortared like brick with like large stones kind of covering about 2/3 of what would be the tunnel mouth. And then another similar doorway opening on the other side.
Okay.
So it looks like what was the wide tunnel has been kind of barricaded off to like open into a couple of narrow passages.
Okay.
Anyone have a preference on which way to go?
I can scout down like one or the other and see just if there's anything close.
All right.
That indicates which way we should go. I don't know how far you want me to go or how long you want me to travel down one or the other.
Use your better judgment.
Okie dokie. I will start off down the left tunnel.
The left-hand side. Okay. Are you going to be taking the light with you or going more sneakily?
Can I possess string?
Yes.
Okay. Can I like how wide is the area of the light?
It illuminates an area about 30 feet across.
Okay. I want to tie a string to it that's about 40 feet long. And trail it behind me. I want to basically angler fish down this hallway so that if anything is gonna bite, I have the ability to get past it before it sicks itself on the light, and then I can come up behind it.
Okay. So you're sort of going to be basically dragging the light behind you.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So it takes a minute or two to kind of rig that up. Actually, before we delve into this part, quick question. Do people want to, I don't know how injured people actually were after the fight with the undead.
Yeah, right, recovery tests. Yeah, I wouldn't mind using one.
Okay. There's certainly been enough time that you could have had the opportunity to use a recovery test if you wanted. So if you feel like you want to recover some of the damage that you suffered, go ahead and roll your toughness die. I don't think anybody suffered any actual wounds, so that's fine. So you just basically roll that die, and that's how much damage you recover.
Okay, cool.
That was a 1, wasn't it?
It was a 1.
Oh, no.
Do these explode too?
They do.
Don't look at me like that.
Could I borrow your eraser? I have to add back this 1 hit point.
Yes.
I rolled a 19, which is way more damage than I took.
Then you are fully recovered.
I took a grand total of 2 strains, so I'm just going to tough it out.
Okay, that's fine.
I should have asked. I have my physician's kit. I maybe could have helped you out a little there. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I also have this lager of potent healing that'll totally repair anything. Boy, it's a shame I didn't think about it in time. Have fun with your 1 hit point, idiot.
You rolled a 1?
Yes.
Oh, no.
He did. All right. So Pokey heads into the left-hand tunnel. After a few moments, the string goes taut and starts dragging the light source behind them. As you kind of make your way, Pokey, it is a twisty, turny, kind of like almost like warren of tunnels where it switches back on itself. There aren't side branches or anything like that, but it looks like that this was probably like another layer of defense set up to kind of funnel stuff that might be trying to break through into narrow, twisting corridors. Go ahead and make an awareness test for me.
11.
Okay. The only notable feature aside from the stones of the walls of this kind of twisty passage all continuing to have little magical runes inscribed in them are down at ground level every so often, is a small, opening of maybe about an arch, maybe at about a foot high at its tallest point, and maybe a couple of feet wide.
Can I inspect them to see if they seem like they're a trap of some kind?
Sure. Go ahead and as you get down and look a little bit more closely, go ahead and make another awareness test.
I'm going to spend a karma.
Okay.
8.
Okay. You kind of look through. It's tough because you've got the light back behind you, and with the twisting of the passageways, it's tough to get a really good light thing unless you want to drag it up and have it there with you.
Yeah, I think once I bent down to examine something, I would just reel the light in so I could use it to look.
So you kind of pull the light up and you kind of duck down and go down to ground level and kind of look through. It looks like that archway goes through the wall, and opens into a wider, space, in between, or on the other side of the wall. Doing a quick little mental map in your head, it looks like what's happening is that the central area, that you would have, you've got sort of twisting tunnel on one side, wide hallway that's been bricked off, twisting tunnel on the other, and those archways are going from the twisting tunnel into the wide central passage.
How far off the ground are the little archways, did you say?
They're down at ground level, and they're about a foot tall at their tallest point.
Okay. Can I squeeze through one of them?
You absolutely can.
I have to know. I want to squeeze through and see what's in that bricked off hallway area.
Okay. So you squeeze through and you find yourself in, it's narrower because you've got stuff that's blocked off on either side, but you're more or less back into the equivalent of the tunnel that you've been following all this way around. Looking back sort of uphill where the others are, you can see the other side of that, faintly you can see the other side of that wall that was blocking things off. And the tunnel kind of continues down the way that it is. Go ahead and make an awareness test for me.
10.
And as you are kind of taking in the scene, you hear from down in the direction that you would continue to be traveling, you hear the sounds of some things coming your way and a little sort of bobbing, glowing, yellowish light.
Tales from the Omniverse is a Critshow Studios production. This episode edited and produced by Brandon Wentz with music by Jake Purley.